name is Brianda Vaden. It is with great pleasure to welcome you. Every so often, a great idea comes to an old industry. For example, how Amazon came to retail, how Uber to transportation, Airbnb to real estate, and now global financial impact to financial services. It is my honor to introduce you to a distinguished person who embodies the spirit of innovation and success in the financial industry. He's one of the youngest in the industry to ever reach the executive levels in income that he has. He leads one of the largest agencies in the entire financial industry. He considers his greatest accomplishment to be his family. He's a loving husband and an incredible father of two beautiful little girls and a man of integrity. Please give it up to Mr. Matthew Welsh.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, hey, so excited to be with everyone today. I couldn't feel more grateful and feel more blessed to be with you. And so today we're going to be diving into who we are, what we do, how we help families, and just how we're revolutionizing the entire financial industry. We're going to be diving into all of that with you guys today. And it's going to take about 15 hours and then we'll be done and you guys can go back to your day. Does that sound good? I'm just kidding. It's not going to be 15 hours. I promise you that. But before I actually dive into who we are, what we do, and how we help families, I want to give you a little bit of an understanding of me and who I am and where I come from. And so I actually started in the industry about 9 years ago. I was 19 years old. I had no background in finance. I was fresh out of high school. And I remember going into a meeting just like this. It was in person back in the day because we used to do everything in person. And I remember them going over the company and the platform and breaking everything down within the industry. And there were so many things that stood out to me, but there was three main things that stood out to me. And so the first one was just being in a position where I can help my own family. You know, I come from a family who struggled a lot financially. I come from a family who was always in a negative spot financially, where it was difficult. And so partnering with a firm that had a mission and a crusade to be able to help people and be able to sit down with a family like mine, whether they had $100 or $100 million, being in a position where I can help them, unlike the traditional financial industry, which a lot of times only focuses on the wealthiest 5%. That stood out to me. The second thing that stood out to me was the opportunity for someone like myself to become somebody, to do something great with my life, to be a part of something that not only contributed to our own legacy, but be a part of something that gave us the ability to contribute to the legacy of other people, where you can really feel good about what it is that you were doing. You can feel good about the difference that you were making. And then last but not least, the thing that stood out to me was the ability to provide for my family. You know, I had a father who battled cancer for about 14 years before he passed away. And one thing that I absolutely loved and one thing that brought so much joy to my heart was the ability to take care of him. And so I remember coming into the industry, I was 19 years old. And within my first month in business, I remember getting home one night and my mom is sobbing. She's crying her eyes out. And the reason she's crying is my dad used to go to chemotherapy every single day and then go to work in hard labor in order to try to make enough money to keep the home, to be able to make enough money to keep food on the table. And that was not something that he expressed to us because he felt like it was his role to just provide for a family and for our family. And so he never told us. And so one night I get home, it's 9 o'clock at night. And my mom looks at me and she's bawling her eyes out. I say, Mom, what's going on? What's wrong? And she said, Matt, I don't know where your dad is and he's not picking up the phone. And within seconds, I remember watching my dad open the front door of our home and fall and collapse to the ground. He couldn't hold himself up anymore. He was so exhausted. He had chemotherapy that day, went to work to try to earn some additional income. And I remember me and my older brother, Noah, had to go pick him up, drag him, carry him, and lay him into bed. And at that moment, I made a decision. As long as it was legal, moral, and ethical, I was going to do whatever it takes for that man to not have to work again. And I was going to do anything in my power to be able to take care of my family. And so I remember the next day I went into an office and I met with somebody who was a mentor to me at the time. And I said, listen, I need to win. I need to succeed in our industry. How do I help families? How do I get out there and help as many families as I possibly can? So not only I can help them, but also be in a position where my family's taken care of as well, because we're struggling right now financially. And my dad's going to work himself into a grave. And so that he gave me clear instructions and said, this is what you got to do. You got to follow our system. You got to go do X, Y, and Z. And if you just stay the course and if you just stay consistent, someone like you can go on to become very successful. And I said, are you sure? I just met him literally a month ago. I had just met him. I said, are you sure this is the path? Are you sure this is the path to being able to take care of my family? And he looked at me, goes, Matthew, I need you to trust me. I need you to trust me. I know you just met me a month ago. I know you have a lot of blind faith right now, but I need you to trust me and the clear instructions that I'm giving you. I said, okay, perfect. And so I put all my faith into him. And 12 months later, at 20 years old, my first 12 months in the business, I ended up crossing a six-figure income within the industry. I went on to make millions of dollars a year in the industry. I went on to build a very successful business within the industry. And what that gave me the ability to do was not only be a blessing in other people's lives, which felt good, but it gave me the ability to take care of my own family. And so if you're on the call today, and you're in a situation where maybe you want to contribute to the lives of other people and you want to be a part of something where you can really make a difference, we're going to be covering how we help families today. Maybe you're on this call right now and you want to become somebody, you want to do something great with your life, you want to be a part of a movement, you want to be a part of something where you just feel like you belong and feel like you're making a difference and feel like you have the opportunity to grow and build something that not only you get to have one day, but something you can pass on to your kids. Well, I'm going to be covering that as well. And maybe you're on this call because you have a loved one in your life and you're looking for something new. You're looking for maybe a new opportunity. Maybe you're looking to better yourself financially, whatever it might be, just because you have people that matter to you that you're trying to take care of. Today, we're going to be going over those things with you. And like I said, it's only going to be 15 hours and then we'll be done. I'm just kidding. We'll be done here in 25 minutes. And so what I want to do is I'm going to dive in. I want to give you a little bit more detail on who we are, what we do, the whole 9 yards. And so to give you an idea, we're global financial impact. And our vision and our mission is we're going to inspire families to dream again. We want to give families a chance to dream again. And so to give you an idea of our mission, is to become the #1 inspirational marketing financial company in the world. That's our mission. That's our commitment. And what that means is we want to inspire people. We want to inspire people not just to do better financially. We want to inspire people to thrive in their marriage. We want to inspire people to have incredible relationships with their children. We want to inspire people to be able to build something that one day they could pass on to their kids. And so for us, it's all about doing things with an inspiration in mind, We know there's a lot of companies in the industry and they're very sales based. They're very sales tactics and all these things. And that's just not how we operate. That's just not who we are. We believe that if something is good for you and we can inspire you to make a decision that's in your best interest for you and your family, that's how we would want to roll. We want to roll with inspiration in mind, not all those other things in the industry. And so for us, that's very, very important to become the #1 inspirational marketing company in the entire industry and revolutionize the way that financial services are distributed, which is in an inspiring manner. I also want to give you an idea of our vision, what we're committed to. We're committed to empowering over 100 million families to achieve financial independence. We're going to help more people become millionaires than any other company out there. And that's a huge task. But we genuinely believe and firmly believe that with our products, with our platform, with the horsepower behind our business model, there's no reason why we can't make that happen. And then last but not least, become the largest financial leadership movement in the industry. Because for us, it's not just about helping families with finances. For us, we really believe to be a firm that believes in leadership. Because obviously you look at the success of any company, it rises and falls on leadership. And so for us, becoming the largest financial leadership movement is something that's very important, because we know that the only way to expand and help more families across the United States and even in other countries is if we help place more people in leadership roles that truly understand the power of leadership and what it means to empower other people and help them become the best version of themselves. And so that's our vision. That's what we're committed to doing. And so to give you an idea of the values in which we are built on, we believe in strength of character. That's important to us. Doing the right thing, doing things with integrity, doing things with a strong character, because we believe in order to build something great, there has to be a foundation, right? Your ambition, your drive, and your work ethic can determine how much you're able to build. But your integrity and your character will determine whether or not you're able to keep it. And so for us, strength and character is important. Respect, right? Respect is just key to everything. Transparency, to be transparent, not only with our clients, but also with those that partner with our firm to build a business. We want to make sure that transparency is on the forefront of your mind and the forefront of our mind in everything that we do, so you always know what to expect and everything's always clear. Loyalty, growth, brotherhood, and sisterhood. We look at ourselves as a family, and we don't just say that. I know there's a lot of companies that might be out there that say things about being a family, but we genuinely mean it. You will find people with our firm that will be there for you more than people you've known your entire life. And then last but not least, leadership by example, because there's a big difference between leadership that's in charge and leadership that's in the charge. And we want to make sure that not only do we let people know that it's about leadership by example, but we are also empowering people to take on those leadership roles where they're in the charge, not just in charge, because that's very, very important to us. And so to give you an idea of our credibility, we're in partnership with a company called Ethos. And as of yesterday, Ethos just got recognized by Forbes magazine to be the #1 life insurance company for all of 2024. So if you go in on Google right now and you looked Ethos up in Forbes, Ethos is considered to be the #1 life insurance company for all of 2024, and we're in partnership with them. They're our technology partner, they're our technology backing, and that's a very, very powerful thing to have, especially with their history, especially with their track record. To be in partnership with them, we really respect them. We really appreciate that partnership. But what's also powerful is their backing, which is Sequoia Capital. So Sequoia Capital's ethos is backing, and Sequoia Capital actually is one of the top venture capitalist companies in the world, and or number one venture capitalist company in the world, depending on the article that you read. And Sequoia Capital is the company that took Google public, Apple public, DoorDash public, Instacart public, and I can go on and on and on. So to have our lineage, to have our backing, to have our credibility as foundationally sound as it is a very powerful thing. We have founders with over 80 plus years of combined experience in the industry. We're in partnership with over 25 Fortune 500 financial institutions within the industry with experience dating back to 1848. We're only allowed to work with the top-notch A-graded companies within the industry. We're not allowed to work with any B or C graded companies. They have to be the best of the best in order to make sure that we do the right thing for our clients. We have industry-leading persistency, and what that means is that we lead the industry in client retention, because for us, it's not a one-time thing. When we help a family, it's not a one-time thing. We plan on being there for them the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, God willing. We plan on being there and assisting them and helping them through the entire process. So the ability to retain our clients is a big deal, and to be recognized for that is huge. And then last but not least, we're licensed in all 50 states, Puerto Rico, Canada, the Virgin Islands, and 21 countries, which is a very big deal as well. So just a little bit of background on our credibility. But what I also want to give you some understanding of is who we're in business with. So we're actually in business with a whole bunch of different companies. We actually have over 25 different companies on our shelf that gives us the ability to be what you would call a non-captive company. And so does anybody know the difference between captive and non-captive by any chance? Does anybody know that difference? No? All right, it's okay. Let me give you an idea. So captive means that you only offer your own company's products on your own company's services. And don't get me wrong, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But what we have found in the industry is that means that typically people will overpay for a product because it's in-house, and or B, they might end up in a tier 2, tier 3 quality of product versus tier 1 because it's all that they can offer. So being non-captive, one of the things that's so powerful about that is that we're able to tailor make and cater an entire financial plan designed specifically for the consumer, specifically for the family, in which we sit down with to help. And so what we do is we sit down with the family, we figure out what their needs are. Once we identify their needs, we go find the company and or companies that's going to specialize in exactly what it is that they're looking for. And then we tailor make and cater a plan designed specifically for them. And what's beautiful about this is all the financial education, all the financial literacy, everything that we do for our clients is 100% complimentary. Let me say it again. It's 100% complimentary, and there's no hidden this or hidden that. It's 100% complimentary. I promise you that. And so I encourage you to look into that, because our goal is to provide as much financial literacy and education to families across the United States and now 21 countries as we possibly can. And so obviously working with so many different companies, and obviously you see these companies, playing on TV every single day. Corebridge got ranked by Forbes magazine as the #1 term life insurance company out there. So we're obviously working with so many different companies and so many different products. And so one of the things that we're big on is not just educating people about the products that are out there, but actually teaching them financial education, basic financial education. And so what we like to teach is what we call the 3 rules of money, the 3 rules of money. And I want to break these 3 rules down for you so that way you can take it and have an understanding, so that way you can go apply it in your own family's life, regardless of whether or not you're working with our firm. Because once again, we're all about education. And so the first rule that I want to go over with you is what we call the rule of 72. And Einstein actually joked around and called this the 8th wonder of the world. And the way that it works is if you take the number 72, you divide it by the interest rate that you're receiving on your money. That's how many years it's going to take for you to double your money. So let's say you're 29 years old and you invest $10,000 and you're getting a 1% rate of return on your money. You take 72, you divide it by the 1%, that equals 72. So it's going to take you 72 years to double your money. At a 4% interest rate, 72 divided by 4 is 18, which means it's going to take you 18 years to double your money. So now from 29 to 47, your 10,000 finally became 20,000. Is that attractive to anyone? Probably not. And then obviously at 6%, your money's doubling every 12 years. And at 12%, your money's doubling every 6 years. And so for us, when it comes to working with our clients, one thing that's important to us is making sure that they're getting the highest interest rates on their money, that they're not just earning interest, but they're also not losing it. Because these interest rates can work against you just as well as they can work for you. Because if you have a credit card with $10,000 of debt and you have a 12% interest on that, that means your debt is doubling every 6 years. So we want to make sure that as we sit down with clients, this interest is working for them and not against them. The second rule that we like to go over with our families is how money grows. And as a company, we do all three: fixed, variable, and index, and there's a time and place for every single one of them. But once again, what we're about is providing education and then allowing families to make an educated decision on what's going to be best for them and their family. And so for the first place for you to put your money is an opportunity called fixed. Fixed is considered to be safe and guaranteed, but this is like your bank account. And let me ask you a question. When was the last time you saw your bank account grow without you actually putting money into it? I rest my case. So not bad for an emergency fund, but probably not the greatest account when it comes to wealth accumulation. The second place for you to put money is what we call a variable account. In a variable account, you can make a lot of money, but you also run the risk of what? Losing a lot of money. And when it comes to your life savings, would you rather have no guarantees or guarantees? Obviously guarantees. So in a variable account, like a 401k, basically what they're telling you to do is go work as hard as you can for your money. You take on all the risk, you take on all the liability, put money into your company 401k or a traditional retirement account, right? And then as you grow your money, once you get to the end, right, you don't even know what you're going to have. You're just crossing your fingers, hoping one day to have enough. And let me ask you a question. Is hope a good retirement strategy? Is hope a good wealth accumulation strategy? Absolutely not. So obviously, families want guarantees, but in a variable account, you can't even guarantee me what your account balance will be tomorrow, which means that we are crossing our fingers, hoping one day to have enough. Am I saying that's a bad account? Absolutely not. If you can afford to diversify, I encourage you to have some money in that bucket. But what I will tell you is most American families are not in a position where they can afford to lose money, which is why a lot of the families that we sit down with have actually kind of been steering towards the indexed account. And to give you an idea of how index works, index gives you the ability to participate on the upside of the market, but never the downside of the market. So if the market does 6%, you have the ability to participate up to 6%. If the market is negative 12%, you're going to lock in your principal and you're not going to lose a single penny. Market is 9%, you earn 9%. Market is negative 9%, you're going to lock in about 0%. And so you only participate on the upside, never the downside. And what's powerful is the tax code that allows you to participate in this index growth strategy was actually invented back in 1913. So it's been around for over 100 years. And the FDIC actually considers the accounts that are used to offer these to the families a tier 1 capital, making it the safest place, one of the safest places to put and grow your money, which is very powerful. So as a company, once again, we offer fixed, we offer variable, we offer index, but what we're about is providing education, allowing families to choose what they feel is going to be best for them and their family. And then we help them go from where they don't want to be to where they do want to be. And so as we grow our money, it's not just about what we make, it's about what we keep. And that leads us to taxes. So there's actually 3 different ways for you to pay taxes on your money. Once again, as a company, we can help with all 3. And so the first opportunity is tax now. Basically, what this means is that you're going to pay taxes twice. You get a paycheck, you pay taxes, you invest that money, and then you pay taxes on all the money that you grow on your money. So the question I have for you is, how much did you like paying taxes the first time? All righty, all right. And that leads me to the second option, which is tax later, tax deferred. What this means is that we're not going to pay taxes now. We're going to defer our taxes and pay them later when we go to retire, which sounds great to everyone because nobody likes to pay taxes. But let me ask you a question. Do you think taxes are going to go down, or can we both agree they're probably going to go up? They're probably going to go up. So basically what they're telling you to do, once again, is go invest your money into a traditional retirement account. You take on all the risk, all the liability, grow as much money as you possibly can. And then when you go to retire, Uncle Sam, somebody that I don't think a lot of people trust, will have the opportunity to decide how much of your money they get to take out of your account. Does that sound like the safest place to have your money? Probably not. And so that leads me to the third category, which is what the majority of the wealthy like to leverage, which is tax advantage. And what this gives you the ability to do is accumulate wealth tax-free and access it 100% tax-free. And the way that that's possible is we take after-tax dollars, and because you've already paid your fair share on the after-tax dollars, we're now able to take that money, put it into an account, grow it tax-free, and access it 100% tax-free. So once again, as a company, we do all 3. What we want, though, is for you to have the opportunity to make a decision. Because what we have found is most families haven't had an opportunity. They haven't had the true education to be able to make a decision. What we have found is that most families either go to the bank, which offers fixed and tax now, right? Or they'll go through their employer, which offers variable and tax later. And so in order to be able to have access to all of them, you need a financial professional, licensed financial professional that can help you with everything. And that's where we come in. And that's why we're able to educate you on all of it, not just 1 or 2 things that's on the screen here. And so to give you an idea, we're able to help families in a whole bunch of different ways, right? We help them with tax advantage wealth accumulation strategies, asset protection, and qualified plan rollovers, college education funds. How many of us wish that our parents had a college fund for us? right? Absolutely. Debt management, consolidation, infinite banking and family banks, which is very, very powerful, especially amongst the wealthy, life insurance and living benefits, estate and legacy planning, right? Index growth, retirement accounts, business owner strategies, and final expense strategies as well. So as a company, we do all of these, and there's some more things that we do as well. But if you were to look at this and say, you know what, there's probably 2 or 3 that stand out to me, right? 2 or 3 of them that I really need help with. I encourage you to just write that down and get with the person who invited you here today, and they can give you more education on the specific accounts that you're looking for and or the specific help that you're looking for. So make sure that you do that. And so obviously, looking at everything that we've gone over already, I'm sure you would probably agree with me that everyone needs what we have. Everyone needs our services. I'm sure you can look at the screen here and think, wow, if I show this to 100 people, out of the 100, at least every single one of them will at least need 1 to 2 things that's on the screen here, which is why there's such a demand for who we are. And that's why there's such a demand for what it is that we do, which is one of the big reasons that we are expanding and actively looking for good people. And so am I saying that anybody can qualify to work with us? I am not saying that. But there's so much demand in the industry right now that we are constantly looking and actively looking for good people to partner with our firm to help us expand and reach more people and make a bigger difference in the lives of other people. So if that's you, what I'm going to pivot to now is just basically the business platform itself, our model. And the reason I want to go over that with you is because, like I said, we're expanding a lot. We're looking for good people. Can I guarantee that you would qualify to work with us? Absolutely not. But if you do, or if you could, I want to make sure that you have the information in front of you. And so to give you an idea, things in the industry right now are just not working. Right? If you look at it, and I just want to basically break down the demand for you really quick. And so things in the industry are just not working. Right? The $182,000 is the average retirement account balance for somebody between the ages of 60 and 69. Right? An estimated 40% of divorces are due to financial problems. Think about that for a second. Right? Divorce rate is higher than ever. And 40% of those divorces are due to financial problems. Nearly 60% of Americans will get diagnosed with an illness, with one of the leading causes being financial stress. And so imagine if we can take financial stress off families through education, through teaching them. Just think about the amount of illnesses that would go down. 63% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck because they haven't been taught proper money management, and or maybe they're just not earning enough, hence where the business comes in. 67% of Americans have never made a financial plan. And if you don't have a plan, then you're basically planning to fail. And we don't want that. So we want to make sure that we equip people with a financial plan. And then last but not least, 68% of Americans are not on track to retire. Let me say it again. 68% of Americans are not on track to retire. That means of the thousands of people that are on this call right now, 68% of you statistically are not on track to retire. Hence the point of today's call, to educate, to teach, to equip you with what you need, and or at least the direction in which you need to go in order to make sure that you can secure your family and secure your financial future. And so to give you an idea of why our industry, our industry is the largest industry in the world. If you took the second and third largest industries in the world, which is real estate and retail, you combine those 2 industries together and then you multiply it by 2, it's barely larger than the financial industry. And so I tell you that because the financial industry is the largest industry in the world, because every other industry in the world has to go through our industry to even exist, because every other industry in the world has to deal with finances. And so obviously our industry is going to be larger than others. And so to give you an idea of why our demand is what it is, because demand right now is through the roof. How many of you guys have ever heard of the baby boomer generation? Anybody? Hopefully everyone, right? Between 1946 and 1964, approximately 78 million babies were born. Men went to war, they came back from war, they were missing their honeys, and boom, storks were flying around, dropping babies off on people's doorsteps, and babies were everywhere. And so they said that if you can predict what the baby boomers were going to need and want in a product and service before they would need and want that product and service, you can go on to become wealthy. You can go on and become wealthy. And so that's exactly what it is that we are doing now. In business, there's something called supply and demand. If there's a demand, you supply with quality, you're probably going to have a little bit of success. And that's a lot of what these industries did. And so when you look at Gerber baby food, right, 1946, Gerber baby food before 1946 was averaging $3 million a year in revenue. So before 1946, they were averaging $3 million a year in revenue. They went from $3 million a year in annual revenue to over 3 million jars per month being sold. Let me say it again. They went from $3 million a year in annual revenue to 3 million jars per month being sold. Because once again, if there's a demand, you supply with quality, you're going to have some success. Then the second thing that took off was toys. Kids were everywhere. Parents, right? I'm a dad of two amazing, beautiful daughters. And so what are they always asking for? Toys, right? They always want toys. And so the toy industry took off. Then it was fast food. McDonald's made it so it was cheap, easy. You can drive up and get it. They revolutionized the way that food was distributed, and all these other companies, all these other fast food companies in the industry went on to follow, and they went on to become incredibly successful. Then it was cars. All of a sudden, the families were bigger. The two-seaters and the four-seater muscle cars were no longer fitting families of 5, 6, 7s, and 8s. And so Chrysler, who was on the verge of filing bankruptcy, recruited a gentleman over from Ford named Lee Iacocca. And he came over from Ford. He said, all right, what do these baby boomers need and want in a vehicle? What do they need and want in a vehicle? And they created the minivan. And when they went from almost bankrupt to having the best production year in history up until that point. Then it was real estate. I mean, everybody heard about the big real estate boom. But now guess what's happening? Retirement. All 78 million baby boomers are retiring. And the baby boomer generation accumulated over $68 trillion. Over $68 trillion. By the way, this doesn't even include their children and what they've accumulated. This doesn't even include their children's children and what they've accumulated. And this doesn't even include their children's children's children and what they have and or will accumulate. So what is my point here? That 68 trillion is just in the hands of the baby boomers. Just in the hands of the baby boomers. And what's crazy is that the traditional financial industry, because they spend all their time focusing on the wealthiest 5%, they are missing out on the majority of that 68 trillion because it's sitting in the hands of the middle class in account balances of 40,000, 100,000, 200,000. In the eyes of the industry, those account balances are typically not large enough for them to do business with that client. So there's so much money right now that's currently sitting in the industry and no one's helping them with it. And that's where we're coming in. We are literally bringing Wall Street to Main Street and revolutionizing the way that finances are distributed, teaching everyday American families, everyday families, what the wealthy have always done with their money. And I know you're looking at $1 trillion and you're like, oh, it's not that big of a deal because of our country so far in debt. Let me give you some clarity really quick. If you counted backwards 1 trillion seconds, 1 trillion seconds, that would put you in the year of 30,000 BC. And I'm not talking BC as in before COVID. I'm talking BC as in before Christ. 30,000 years before Christ. So to have the amount of money exchanging hands over the next 7 years, you need to go back to 30,000 BC, save $68 per second up until today's conversation to have the amount of money exchanging hands. Are you starting to see the demand that's going on right now? And once again, that's not even including Generation X, the millennials and their children either. That is just the baby boomers. And so by December 31st of 2030, the last baby boomer is expected to turn 65 years old. And so there's this massive wealth transfer that's taking place. And we are one of the only companies in the entire industry providing the answer to that problem because we're focused on helping everyone, not just the wealthy. You see why that's such a big deal? And so to give you an idea of how we're going about solving that problem and how we're going about making sure that we help the consumer and make sure that all these families get taken care of. Number one is inspirational marketing, bringing a new style of marketing to the industry. And that's a very, very big deal. Number two is financial services, right? Obviously, we have a financial services model. We have over $109 trillion in our industry. So we're expanding and we're growing in order to be able to meet the needs of these families. We have a franchise model. That if you partner with our firm and let's say you want to be able to build a business and be able to build something that you can pass on to your kids one day and they can pass on to their kids one day. Well, we have a franchise type model that we mimic where you have the opportunity to leverage our company, leverage our platform, leverage our brand names, but then have your own business on the platform that you can build and pass on to your kids one day. So we are incentivizing growth through ownership and we are incentivizing growth through the business owner opportunity where you can build something that you can pass on to your kids one day in the most highly compensated industry in the world and with inspiration in mind. And then last but not least, taking a brokers and agents model, kind of like real estate, which I'll give you more clarity on here in just a second. And so what we did is we took inspirational marketing, we took financial services, we took the franchise type model, and we took brokers and agents, and we created this hybrid model. And this is how we're going to go about solving that demand of the baby boomers and also their children and children's children. And so to give you an idea of what that would look like. So let's say you qualify to work with us. And once again, I want to be very, very clear. We're not looking for everyone, but we are looking for people that can help us expand. And so these are the 6 ways for you to have the opportunity to earn income on our platform. Number 1 is personal income, which I'll break down here for you in just a second. Number 2 is agency income, which I'll also break down. Expansion income, bonus income, recurring income, renewal income. How many of us would like to be able to help a family today and earn income every single year on an annual basis without any of that money coming out of the client's pocket. How powerful is that, right? So how many of us would like to work today and get paid every single year based off the work we put in today? Wouldn't that be incredible? Well, guess what? That's how we have this set up. And then last but not least, stock options and equity options as well. And so I'm going to give you an understanding of some of these for you today so you can have a better understanding. And so to give you an idea of what it would look like if you qualify to work with us. So let's say you qualify to work with us. One of the things that you're going to be required to do is get something called a life license, a life insurance license through your current state. That license doesn't take a long time to get. It's a couple $100 and it's a tax write-off. But you would be required to go get that license, which is no big deal. It takes less than a week to get. And then after that, we can begin training you on how you can go out there and service families. And so let's say you attain that license. I want to give you an idea of what it would look like to earn income on our platform. So let's say you're an associate right out of orientation with our firm, and you sit down with a family and you help them save $500 a month into one of our insurance products, one of our wealth accumulation accounts, right? You take the 500, you multiply it by 12 because there's 12 months in a year, and that gives you the annual contribution. You take your contract percentage as an associate of 45, senior associate at 50, marketing director at 60%, and or executive marketing director at 85%, and you multiply it by that 6,000, and that's how much money you just earned in a 45-minute window, 30-minute window, or even a 10-minute window, depending on which company and carrier that you use. So in literally 10 minutes to 45 minutes, you can earn $2,700 right out of orientation by helping one family. What if you helped one family a week? What if you helped 2 families a week? What if you helped 10 families a week? Maybe you have the crusade in your heart and you want to help 5 families a day. Whatever it looks like for you, you have the opportunity. There is no limit, and there's also no quota. I know one thing that sometimes people worry about when partnering with a firm is there a quota? Is there any minimum standard that I have to meet? And the answer to that question is no. There's no minimum standard that you do have to meet. But if you had the opportunity to make a difference, why would you limit yourself, right? So the question I have for you is, how many hours would you have to work at your job right now in order to earn $2,700? That's 10 to 45 minutes with our firm, one client around your schedule. That's not bad, right? And that's at our lowest contract right out of orientation. And then obviously, if you decide to work your way up and become an executive marketing director on our platform, if you do the exact same thing, you'd earn $5,100 in that same 10 to 45 minutes, which is very, very powerful. And so to give you an idea, though, that's just the personal compensation. What we also have is an agency model. We have an EMD agency model. So to give you an idea of how that works, let's say you become an executive marketing director with us, an EMD, one of our leadership roles, and you enter a leadership role and you help one household per week save $500 per month into our products. As an executive marketing director, just on your personal pen, helping families, that would pay you $265,000 per year. But let's say you want to take more of a brokers and agents role where you decide, you know what, I don't want to just personally help on my own. I build an agency because by doing this, I'll be able to help even more families. Well, if you build a team of 6 agents who all rinse and repeat, helping one household per week save $500 per month, well, then guess what? You're now making over $14,000 per week in what we would call agency income. And then you're making over $5,100 per week in your personal income. So that's a total of over almost $85,000 per month, over $1 million per year. And I know what you might be thinking, Matt, how is that even possible? Or in the financial industry, it's the most highly compensated industry in the world. Well, Matt, how can they afford to pay you that much money? Well, let me ask you a question. When somebody gets a life insurance policy, how long do they typically have it? 20, 30 years. When somebody gets a retirement account, how long do they typically have it? 10, 20, 30 years. When somebody sets up a college fund for their child, how long do they typically have it? 10 to 20 years, maybe even longer. Most of our clients have it longer. So why do I tell you this? The companies that we do business with are in a position where they plan on making their profits in the long term. So because they plan on making their profits in the long term, they're able to afford to financially pay our agents up front without taking any money out of the client's pocket, which is a very, very big deal. And so we can definitely give you more clarity on this. But what I also want to tell you is that we don't want you to just become an agent or an associate on our platform. What we are specifically looking for are people that we can place into a leadership role to help us expand. We have the vision to have over 1 million licensed agents on our platform by 2030. And we know that the only way that that can happen is if we encourage people to take on a leadership role, because the larger the leadership team, the larger the company. And so we're looking to place people into a leadership role. So what I want to give you is an idea of what that looks like. So if you guys can do me a favor, I want you to look at me. I'm going to work with my hands real quick because I'm going to give you clarity with my hands. So earlier I mentioned the brokers and agents like a real estate model. So to give you an idea of how that works in real estate you have brokers and you have agents, and you want your agents to do well, but not too well, because the moment those agents do too well, guess what they do? They also become a broker. And now you gave them all your tricks. You taught them everything that you need to know, right? You taught them everything that they need to know, yet you no longer earn income on any of those efforts, even though you are the one that equipped them and taught them everything they need to know in order to become successful. So there's a lot of controversy there. For us, we got rid of that. For us, we have brokers and we have agents. And our number one goal is to help every single one of our agents become a broker. And is there any more agency income at that time? Nope. They give us what we call expansion income. And what that means is that if I help somebody go from an agent to becoming an EMD into a leadership role on our platform, the company will pay me up to 18% on everything that leader, that executive marketing director does, not only up front, but over the years to come, and all of their agents. So to give you an idea, let's say I helped one person go from becoming an agent into a leadership role. The company will then pay me up to 18% on everything that new EMD and all of their agents do. And then let's say that person develops someone else into a leadership role. They'll give 9% and then 6% and then 3%. So the reason we created this model is to incentivize growth through not only the compensation, but also the ownership, to give people the opportunity to build something that, once again, they can pass on to their kids, but without having to worry about whether or not somebody actually has your best interests. You know, we firmly believe that if you help enough people get to where they want to be, you'll get to where you want to be as well. And so that's how the compensation works. And the person who invited you onto the call can definitely give you some more clarity on it. But let me ask you a question. If we could show you how to earn $1 million in the next 12 months, and I don't mean this in a cheesy way, and in no way, shape, or form is this to get rich quick. It requires hard work. It requires you to learn some skill sets. There's going to be some ups, so there's going to be some downs. Let's just be real. It's business, right? But at the end of the day, if we can show you how to go out there and earn $1 million a year, wouldn't that be worth looking into? Absolutely. Absolutely. And we encourage you to do so. And so to give you an idea, okay, if you look at the average cost to open up an insurance and or financial franchise in the industry, it's about $100,000 to $250,000. But if you wanted to leverage our platform, it would only be $199 to get access to our platform. And what that also does is it gets you access to all the state licensing and study material. So a lot of times the state licensing and study material is actually $190 in order to just get access to the study material, in order to go take the exam to be able to get licensed and work on our platform and earn income. But guess what? Because we put so many people through the licensing process, we've negotiated down those costs. And so we're able to get you set up on our platform, get you access to all the study material, and get all of your background checks done for only $199, which is a very big deal, especially compared to the industry, which could, be up to $250,000 to start some type of insurance and or financial franchise. And so once again, only $199 is a very, very big deal. And so to give you an idea, and we're almost done here, about what makes us special. What makes GFI special? Number one is the ownership opportunity. I'm a firm believer that if you're going to work hard, you might as well own it at the end. You might as well be able to keep it at the end. And that was very, very important to us, was creating a model, creating a platform where a wife can feel good, knowing that if her husband doesn't come home, that she's able to take on that business and earn that income that they help build as a family. That if a wife didn't come home, that a husband wouldn't have to worry about losing income or losing part of their business. Building a model where you could feel good about it. There's a lot of financial agencies out there that if all of a sudden somebody passes away, right, the company will inherit that. I know that's how a lot of state farms work, where the company inherits all those clients, the brand name inherits all those things. And so being in a position where your family will be taken care of, that's a very, very, very big deal. Number two, competitive personal and builders compensation contracts, the ability to earn incredible income while doing good for people and feeling good about it, because we're working with A+ rated product providers, making sure that we're offering the best possible products for the families in which we sit down with. The ability to travel the world. I'll tell you this, I turned down trips last year because we traveled so much. So if you're the type of person that likes to travel and experience new things, that's important to us. We hold leadership retreats almost monthly, but worst case scenario on a quarterly basis, where we take people around the world and we hold retreats where we have an absolute blast and we bond and we break bread and we enjoy ourselves. And one thing that we'll tell you is that we don't want just you to come. We want you to bring your spouse. We want you to bring your wife. We want you to bring your husband. We want you to bring your kids, because for us, family and is absolutely everything. So why would you want to miss out on an incredible moment, an incredible memory without your family? That just doesn't make sense. So we encourage that, right? A winning culture. I don't know about you, but I grew up playing sports. And one thing that I loved was being a part of a winning team, a part of a winning culture where everyone fought for each other, where everyone had each other's backs. And that's a huge deal. A proven system, a system with a track record that works, a system that's not personality driven, but a system that just relies on your ability to follow instruction, where if you just follow instruction, you can go on to become successful. I told you guys earlier that I came into the industry at 19 years old. And they said, if you just follow our system, you'll be able to go on and become successful. And at 19, 20 years old, I made over $120,000 in our industry. And it was just because I was able to follow a system. So someone like myself can do that at 19 years old. When I look 12, I promise you, right, you would have the opportunity to just follow that system and become successful as well. Leadership by example. And I mentioned earlier that it's not about just having leadership that's in charge, but in the charge, that's in the trenches with you, showing you how to succeed, showing you how to win. That's very, very important to us. The fulfillment formula. One thing that's very important to us is what we call the 5 Fs. The 5 F stands for faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. And we don't want to just inspire you to be good in your finances, because let me ask you a question. If we helped you become wealthy, but your marriage is struggling, is that success? If we helped you do incredibly well financially and build an incredible business, but the relationship with your children is on the rocks, is that success? Absolutely not. And so for us, we don't want you to just win in business and financially. We want your marriage to thrive. We want you to become stronger in your faith if that's important to you. We want you to have an incredible family. We want you to be healthy. All these things are important, which is why we have the foundation of the fulfillment formula of the 5 Fs: faith, family, finance, and fitness and fun. And we truly believe that if you're associated with our firm, you'll become better in all 5 of those areas. Charitable work and contribution. We have something called the GFI Foundation, where if you have a cause that matters to you and you bring it to us and we can validate that it's a real cause, we will match your donation in order to multiply your impact. So if you raise 10,000, the GFI Foundation will match your 10,000. Now there'll be 20,000 to take to a certain country to help them, to be able to do this, to be able to do that. So if there's a cause that matters to you, we want to be involved. We want to contribute to that. And you can see more of that on our website. And then last but not least, the agency owner technology platform. You know, we're in a very old industry. Let's be real. And most companies in the industry have very outdated software. They're basically operating in a new industry, a new way of living, a new way of distribution, and with all these old type of products, all these old type of technology platforms. And that's just not how we operate. For us, we have a technology platform. It's one of the reasons that we partner with Ethos to have the most technologically sound softwares and platforms available to give our agents the opportunity to build something, but not only be able to look at their business at a glance and be able to dissect their business, but also being able to bring product to the consumer faster than ever. You know, we're in a position where I can literally sit down with a family and get them covered with life insurance and get them set up with a wealth accumulation strategy in under 10 minutes. And that's unheard of in our industry. So the ability to do that because of our technology, because of our relationships, is a very, very big deal. And so by being on today, you have the opportunity to look into a couple of different ways to get started with us. And here's the deal. Once again, we're not looking for everyone, but we are looking for a few to help us expand. So you're going to have to go through a qualification period. You might have to interview with somebody. There's going to be background checks that are involved. We are not looking for everyone. But if you really want to make a difference, and you want to be a part of something that's bigger than you, and you want to contribute to the lives of other people and build something that not only impacts the lives of other people, but also impacts your own family, where you could build something that you could pass on to your kids one day, well, then I encourage you to look into it. I can't guarantee a position, but I encourage you to look into it. And so by logging in today, I encourage you to look into getting a complimentary financial review. Well, we can help you set up as a client, where we can look into different financial services for you to help secure your financial future. Let's say you want to become a referral agent, where you can get a license, and as long as you refer people over to us, we can actually pay you compensation for that referral. Revenue sharing. let's say you're somebody that already holds a license within the industry and you are a tax professional or an accountant, or maybe you're in real estate, whatever it might be, and you come across clients who need our services all the time. Well, if you attain a license and you refer those people over to us, we can compensate you for those referrals. Part-time. Part-time for us isn't 20 to 30 hours. Part-time is maybe 5 to 10 hours every single week, because everything's by appointment. So imagine being able to build a part-time income with our firm where you're able to help, where you're able to make an extra couple $1,000s every single month, where you're able to make an extra $5,000, $10,000 every single month, where you can have more time with your family and be present with your children and not have to miss dinner and book everything around your schedule. Imagine being in a position where, you work with us part-time for the next 30 to 45 days, you start earning income, and then you transition into a full-time position where you make this your full-time career path, where you are able to build a business and help families. And then last but not least, the agency owner side of things. Or if you say, you know what, I don't want to just be a financial professional that helps a whole bunch of families. I want to build a business. I want to build a company within a company. I want to build something I could pass on to my kids one day. Well, we have the opportunity for you to build a business on our platform and be able to do so while leveraging our platform and leveraging our brand names without all the franchise fees and costs that are out there. And so if you see yourself starting out with our firm and you want to look into it, I encourage you to look into one of these 6 areas, because we would definitely love the opportunity to talk to you. Can I guarantee anything? Once again, absolutely not. But we definitely encourage for you to look into it and get with the person who invited you here today. And so if you want to look into becoming a part to work with our firm, well, guess what? There's a little QR code right there. You can scan it and it will take you to our application where you can apply to work with our firm. And once again, the person who invited you onto the call today can give you more clarity on that. But maybe you just want more information on the company. Well, if you want more information on the company, once again, you can scan that QR code. It will take you to our company website, and that can give you more information as well. So with that being said, I'm so grateful to have you all on. Thank you guys so much for logging in with us today. We truly couldn't be more grateful to have you. We couldn't be more grateful that you wanted to look into our firm. But I will tell you this, we are looking for people to help us expand our mission. We're looking to help more families. People need us right now more than ever. And if there's anything that we can do to help you, we would love to have that opportunity. Have an incredible day. God bless. And we'll talk to you guys later.
Shoulders, tell me what you see. 'Cause I am a giant. We'll be breaking boulders underneath our feet. I am a giant. Oh, I am a giant.
Gonna shake, roll away in the dirt under me, yeah. Gonna shake, roll away in the dirt under me, yeah. Gonna shake, throw it away in the dirt, yeah. Gonna shake, throw it away in the dirt, yeah. Gonna shake.